Hi guys, hope all is well. Um, like after explaining all the college Kalosh stuff and like the 2001 2002 season, let's just get straight into it. Now, I want to give background warning. You're going to hear background sounds from time to time because, we're fixing up some stuff at the place, so you'll be hearing things from time to time. So, SA went to the 2002 World Cup with the head coach being Jomason. And me personally, this was my first World Cup actively following. It was the first time I understood what was going on. The first time I understood what it meant for the team to win. First time understanding what the stakes were. So I was kind of invested, bruh, because at this point I've been following soccer for 2.5 years, 3 years. No. 2 years actually. 1.5 years to 2 years actually. Yeah. So the rage at the time had been attacking central midfielders. You think of guys like Guti and Ronaldinho and the additional attacking outlet that they provide, creativity and all of that, So to see Braje pick and field such a pragmatic side, it was a choice. I'll just say that. It was a choice. SA was drawn in a group with Paraguay, Slovenia, and Spain. So personally speaking, I felt with the team that we had, going into the knockout stages, it wasn't going to be that big a deal. And if we're looking at the team, I just want to say up front, traditionally, Jomo was one of the more defense-orientated coaches, who would hit you on the counter. And when you look at the squad chosen, you can definitely see that that philosophy bleed into his selection process. I'm actually surprised why the technical committee didn't stop him at some selections and bruh, why are you picking this guy? That sort of thing. But let's get into the squad, Okay, at goals was Hans Fonk, Aronsa, and Calvin Marlin. The usual three that you'd see at the time at the national team, Defense was Cyril Nzam of Kaiser Chiefs, Bradley Carnell, Aaron Mokoena, Jacob Lecheto, Pierre Issa, Aaron Mokoena and Pierre Issa, Lucas Radebe, and Tabang Molev. In midfield was Macbeth, Quentin Fortune, Thabo Ngomeni, McDon Mukansi, Bennett Mguni, Jabu Mahlangu, Tebo Mokoena, sorry about that, and Deldron Buckley and Stephen Pinar. And the strike force was mainly 4 guys: Usuzuma, Senovete, George Komantarakis. I don't know how we got to that point where we're picking George Komantarakis, but we're here, I guess. And Benny McCarthy. Now, one notable thing that I found what the hell is he doing? That sort of feeling that you have, was that this guy, he selected 5 DMs, 5 defensive midfielders. Well, 4, of course, Quentin Fortune was versatile enough to play in midfield and at the back row, But most of these guys do the same thing, more so speaking, For reference, it would be Macbeth, Bennett Nguni, Aaron, and I guess Tebo Mokoena. So more or less they did the same thing, And I know the World Cup isn't the place to try new things, but Jesus, this feels like the perfect Jomo Cosmos squad, bruh. And it also didn't help, that the large majority of the team was foreign-based players. And that never really sat well with fans, Because when I look at the squad, let me do a quick calculation. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 players. 19 players were playing abroad at the time, out of a squad of 23. And you see, the thing is, you as a coach, you can select a squad based on international players because you have access to those international players. The fans at home at the time, we didn't have access to international football, except maybe the Champions League, and that was via ETV, ETV if I remember correctly. So fans, if we're speaking like basically, fans didn't get the chance to judge if these players were included on a deserved basis or not. Like, i.e. McDonald. I know McDonald was like, when I look back, looking at his career and how he was playing, he was a proper player. Like, run-of-the-mill midfielder, crosses, scores. Yeah, he was a proper player, you know. But, you know, the fans at the time didn't get the chance to judge, you know. So it just felt like that sort of thing where, like, SAFA were just overimposing their power on the national team and such, you know. And it didn't help that this was the same time that, like, Carlos Queiroz had an issue with SAFA and he'd left, you know. And Sheiks, before then, after, Sheiks had an issue with SAFA as well. And then he left, you know, leaving them to abruptly hire Brajay for the job, you know. So there was a lot of uncertainty around the national team. But as the national team, everyone's going to watch regardless. So South Korea, Japan, here we come. Now, I'm not going to lie. Despite the team's build, they really did their thing, you know. Opening game was against Paraguay. I remember at the time I was in school, so I couldn't watch the game, but it ended like 2-2 if I remember correctly. I watched the highlights, it was proper. Sianon Vete scored against Slovenia, giving Bafana their first World Cup win. It was a proper display. And then even the Spain game, it was going well, bro. It was 2-2 at one point, until until it wasn't. So I'm not gonna hate on an individual player, but I just want to say, like, Aaron and Pierre Issa, it was a detriment. I don't want to lie to you, it was a detriment, especially later on down the years. But you know, yeah. Ultimately, the team did their thing despite the expectations, and I can't hate that, you know. For like the first World Cup showing, you know, that I've seen, it was proper, bruh. I'm not gonna hate. So let's just move on to the 02-03 PSL season.